Hello everybody, Roxabox90 here, back with another top 10 Magic the Gathering card countdown. Today we're going to delve into the top 10 Shadows over Innistrad cards, and we're going to move along at a nice quick pace following the similar criteria I've done in the past, which is that obviously this list is objective, but the idea is to look at the cards that I think are the best in the set overall, cross format in terms of overall for the cards, starting with ones I think are the most universally applicable, and that'll be at the top, and then going downwards or vice versa, getting from cards that are a little more niche, specific, that I think will have a great impact and be very well designed and cool cards, but they're not going to be quite as large. Starting off the honorable mentions, the dual lands, obviously. I don't know what these have finally be called. I think shadow lands, but these dual lands are obviously going to make an impact, and they're going to help offset and balance out the colors. So if you don't have these already, before standard season, before these spike up, these are probably things to get because they're going to be good. The reason they're not on the list is because it's pretty obvious that decent dual lands are going to be seeing play and be good, and I don't think that it's worth the space on the list. Jace, Unraveler of Secrets, I don't think he's good enough right this minute. I think Jace Vryn's Prodigy is the preferred card in many decks, but that being said, when Jace Vryn's Prodigy changes, I think he could see back, and he's very powerful, of course. Traverse the Ulvenwald is effectively green card draw and filtering, which is very effective, and given the number of green related decks I'm expecting to see in standard, makes a lot of sense. This card. Sigarda and Relentless Dead and a number of other cards as well that you'll see here are very good cards, but they're a little bit narrowed to certain kinds of decks and certain styles, and for that I think they're not quite as broad in impact and cross formats, and cross format specifically in standard, and I think they all have the opportunity to shine in the sun, but in different moments, but I don't think they're quite broad enough in impact. Sin Prodder, I really like this card. I wanted this card to be on the list, but I don't know if it's quite there. I really like that it gives you multiple red advantage, and it's a very difficult to deal with creature in terms of blocking. With the Menace, I like it a lot. I don't think it's quite good enough. Westvale Abbey is a solid, fun, well-designed card. I do think that more often than not, given the number of exile effects in and even other formats, I think this card is going to be difficult to make work. An Elusive Tormentor, very solid card. I want this card to work. It enables a lot of different abilities and is very well costed, but I doubt it's going to end up seeing quite as much constructed play as I wish it would. And last up on the list, this actually was on the list and I had to cut one. This was the card that got cut, was Ever After. Solid card, however, I do think that despite its value, there's just better cards on the list. Starting off number 10 of the list itself, Descend Upon the Sinful is awesome. It is a very effective wrath that also messes with Delirium, messes with graveyards, prevents reanimation, and if you have Delirium yourself, very obvious by turn 6, very effective to do, you get a 4/4 flyer. So not only is it well costed, it gives you a body, and it removes a lot of advantage. Very solid wrath. Number 9, Olivia, Mobilized for War. This card is just super powerful, and I do think that vampires have a lot of support. I think she's going to make a splash, and I think of all the cards I listed in the honorable mentions that have their narrow play, she's a little bit narrow. She's not going to see play across many decks, but I think she's going to be very effective in those that she does. Number 8, we have Tireless Tracker. This card I'm probably going to get some flack on, but I think it is so sweet. How often do you see a well-costed green card that gives you tremendous advantage, especially in ramp decks? It gives you clues that can push forward into card advantage later in the game, and if you have enough mana later on, it lets you sink it into those clues, and then whenever you're sacrificing clues to draw cards, this card can evolve and become incredibly powerful. I think it does a lot for green. It's very good utility, and I would expect it to see some play, at least. Then, number 7, Avacyn's Judgment, having a card that is effective instant speed removal, that deals with token strategies, that allows you to finish off the game, allows any kind of red-green ramp decks to really blow home damage. I think this card is flexible, valuable, and will likely see a good amount of even at sorcery speed. Number 6, we have Sorin Grim Nemesis. Obviously, most Planeswalkers overall are pretty sweet. This guy is one of the few consistent ways to gain life in standard, and especially given the amount of aggressive decks we see, I expect this card to see a lot of play. It also gives you card advantage that acts as a form of damage. It protects itself and allows you to gain life, and it gives you a horde of tokens to kind of push through and win the game. It's a win con advantage. I doubt it'll be seeing any 3 or 4 ofs in decks, but very clear this card is going to see at least some form of play. Number 5, we have Nahiri the Harbinger, and Nahiri is sweet. She really is. She's very well designed, and while yes, I have certain other issues I've mentioned in prior videos, I do think that she's very, very flexible and will work very well. I like that she enables madness. I like that she gives you a pseudo card advantage. I like that she exiles different permanents. This prevents Delirium from being effective, and I think that she'll overall be well worth her value. Hitting 6 loyalty for 4 mana is crazy. Then we have 4. This is kind of a split between Anguish Making and Declaration of Stone. I think these are both very premier removal spells, and both will have a good spot. The question is, which one will be leaned more towards? Declaration of Stone is more flexible and deals with tokens very, very well, but it does have a fairly solid drawback, whereas Anguish Making, the drawback's not quite as painful and does non-land permanent at instant speed, but it's a little bit heftier on the colors. Question which one will be better. Number 3, obviously, Archangel Avacyn is ridiculous. Not only is she ridiculous value and a great top curve, but being able to win combat, allow her to sweep your opponent's field. It's the fact that it hits each creature and each opponent, gives you a pseudo, I don't know, Bonfire of the Damned effect for a huge effective flyer. I think she's just going to fit into many, many strategies, and most of the removal and or creature choices going forward are going to center around her because of how warping she is and how effective a creature she is. Number 2, we have Arlen Embraced by the Moon, or Arlen Cord. She is Huntmaster of the Fells again, and if you recall, even ignoring the werewolf strategy completely, Huntmaster saw play. This card is effectively Huntmasters again, and it works very well with wolf-werewolf decks. And Avacyn is, I think, the most flexible, but Arlen Cord could equally see as much play, given how much red-green has advantage-wise. I think she's absolutely stunning and amazing and will work in many, many strategies and formats. And number 1, Thing in the Ice. I know this kind of seems strange. Why is he choosing this as number 1? Well, because this is, I think the card is going to make the biggest impact across all formats from what I can see. Why? Because the fact that instants and sorcery spells remove counters from it. It's an effective defender that blocks early on aggressive decks in Legacy and Vintage even, and the fact that it is able to wipe the field, give you a 7/8 body very, very easily in pretty much any format. Modern, Legacy, Vintage. This card, yeah, sure, I've seen people who have problems with it, and I've seen debates back and forth, but from my perspective, I think this is the value of the set across multiple formats. I'm not going to say it's the definitive Legacy Vintage card of the set, but it probably is. I really like the design, I love the flavor, and I think it's going to have a massive impact. So those are my top 10 Shadows of Innistrad cards. I'd love to hear what you guys think down below in the comments section. If you guys enjoyed the video, please tap the like button and stay tuned. I'm working on a top 10 Commander video, as well as I'm going to try to get a top 10 flavor video because this set has so much flavor in it. I love it. But let me know what you guys think down below, as said, and as always, RoxaBox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.